Hello everyone, I hope you're doing so well and welcome to this little video all about the oil paintings I'm working on this week. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new, and thank you so much for amazing comments on my last video. I know it was quite some time ago now. At the end of this video I hope to do a little film review, but I might not be able to because it is so late. It just took so long to set up, and actually I was going to film on my phone, but then I realised that the quality, it wasn't so good. I'm still in two minds about that one. So anyway, also a piece of material just fell off the bottom of my chair. I hope you enjoyed this video. The reason I haven't been here for like 3 weeks, which is really bad, is I actually took a tiny break, which was so beautiful, but then I came back and I just couldn't get back in the flow of making videos, but now I am properly back making videos. I actually thought maybe I'd forgotten how to paint, but it turns out I'm still the same level as before, so I haven't improved. Maybe I got slightly worse. Okay, the first painting I'd like to show you is of this little cat in a forest. This is actually a cat that learns to read a book. And I always kind of like showing animals in very random, weird situations. And so this cat kind of looks perfectly normal until you see the book here, which is over here. And that is because this cat is actually trying to become a bit of an intellectual, and it doesn't want any other cats to know, and it wants to keep up its, you know, real streetwise image. So it continues to catch mice and continues to eat tuna and do all the normal cat things. But with this book, it sets out into the forest. I kind of figure this is like a really intense, deep, intellectual book. I was considering it might be something like Lord of the Rings, maybe something even deeper like Dickens. Actually, I think it's Dickens. It looks like the size of a Dickens book. Actually, it's nowhere near big enough for a Dickens novel. Perhaps it's Wuthering Heights. It's about that size, I think. Anyway, it becomes, you know, extremely inspired once it reads the book and decides it's going to raid a library and read even more books. So yes, so I do hope you like this little catto. I'm just going to shift it so you can see the light. This painting is absolutely finished and it's just drying. The next three paintings I'm going to show you are actually dry, which is amazing because I don't have to wear those gloves. And incidentally, in case I look bright orange, I'm constantly adjusting the lighting because I keep thinking maybe it's too bright, you know, in my face and you can't really see me properly, but actually maybe that's good. So apologise if I look orange. I actually am positive in the thumbnail I'm going to look bright orange. So the first painting that is fully varnished is this one of a deer. And I really love painting deers and fawns, as I mentioned many times on my channel before. And this deer actually is, this is a completely different type of story. It's actually all about finding peace, and this deer really wants to basically find an area where there's no noise at all, and he goes wandering off into the forest and finally he finds this beautiful field that has flowers in it, and it's this really amazing colour, green. This sort of almost pastel colour, and I find pastel colours generally quite relaxing to look at, so that's why sometimes I paint scenes with those sort of colours. And so yeah, and the breeze is like, there's a gentle breeze, and he sits by a tree and it's just the most peaceful scene. So that is literally the story. It was kind of more of an atmospheric painting, and so I do hope that that comes across in. And this bunny rabbit is trying to light its way through a really dense forest. So this forest is actually basically completely overgrown, and this rabbit can't actually see above the leaves, and so it carries a little lamp and then tries to find its way through the sort of really thick overgrown plants. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to move them around here. And actually, as soon as the bunny comes up, it is with its family initially, but then when it comes up and rises above the surface, it realises it's completely alone just with its little lamp, and it has to navigate its way through this really dense, dark, mysterious forest. And what will it find? Will there be creatures lying around in wait? You know, will there be creatures in the trees? You know, I think so. Finally, we have a painting that is nowhere near finished. Actually, this painting is really comical because this started out as a really loose brushwork piece. Like I just kind of went wild with it and then let it dry, and with the underpainting it was super messy, and so I hadn't really massively thought about the composition, but then I left it for a while and then went back to it and started to paint these sort of area, and it was really funny because this paw kind of looks like it belongs to another cat, and that it's like reaching in, and it doesn't actually belong to this cat at all, but it is going to join up, and actually this cat is going to take its paw from this side and hold the bottom of the lamp. Sounds really random and confusing, but it will make sense when it's finished. And yeah, this cat is actually in a cave because it lives in a cave, and it's just sort of spending its evening lighting this little lamp and just looking for treasure in the cave, because it's never really explored the depths of the cave. And once you explore, you never know what you can find. I hope you like the paintings. I do have others on the go, but obviously they're in such a dire state that I'm too embarrassed to actually show them on camera. So yeah, so a mini film review. Oh my goodness, I saw this film today actually, so it's kind of like fresh in my mind, but I cannot actually tell you that much about it because it was one of those movies where I literally put it on in the background whilst I was painting. And sometimes if the movie is not very good, I get so into painting that I just sort of quickly glance at it from time to time, and this was one of those movies. So the name was The Scapegoat, and it starred Alec Guinness. So it's a pretty old film, 1959, and it's one of those movies that's actually free on YouTube. So it's kind of like, I do, you know, have had a few wins with movies free on YouTube, because when the copyright has expired, obviously some of these movies become available, and some, especially some classic films. I've seen some really amazing Hitchcock films free on YouTube, so I was hopeful. And Alec Guinness is an amazing actor, amazing British actor. He's been in so many classic films, so I was like, yes. And this film starts off really great. It had really amazing cinematography. This is a British film, and I thought that it was going to be one of those sort of spy movies, and at least that's what some of the comments suggested. This movie is all about Alec Guinness. I don't know the name of his character in the film, so I'm just going to call him the Alec Guinness character. He is a solitary man, let's put it that way. He is, I believe, in France. One evening he takes a trip into a little cafe, and a lady sends him covertly a message. And so he opens it up and he reads it, and he's sort of like, you know, who is this woman? She's sort of giving him like the old, like, you know, eye. And he's quite, as I say, solitary man, and he's just sort of weirded out by it. And it is quite weird actually the way she acts. So he gets up and he like just leaves the cafe. And immediately he's sort of like, there's sort of this tension, like, is he being followed? Who is that random woman? And then he goes into this bar. He's sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden a man who looks exactly like Alec Guinness, played by Alec Guinness, wanders up to the bar and orders a drink and sits next to him. He does a double take. He's met his twin, or is it really his twin? No, so they get chatting. Turns out this guy is not related to him, but he's a lookalike. He's a real life lookalike. They look exactly the same. Obviously they're played by the same person, Alec Guinness, and it is done in a very obvious way. I mean, I would have thought, if you're going to play a twin, might be better that the twin has a different accent, because that would make it more like, okay, that's that guy and this is that guy. But obviously that didn't happen in the film meeting. They didn't think like, oh yeah, let's have them have one of them has to have a distinguishing accent, because otherwise if you look at them they just look like the same person, and quite clearly they are the same person. I end up checking into a hotel and spending the night in the same room. I don't know why exactly. I think because they think that they have a lot in common because they look the same, but actually they turn out to be completely different. So they're both businessmen, where they seem to have a completely different outlook on life. So yeah, they end up sort of chatting away till the early hours, and Alec Guinness is the main character. He wakes up and his evil twin, let's call him his evil twin, has disappeared. And Alec Guinness wakes up and he's like, okay, where is this guy that looks exactly like me? All of a sudden, all these people come in, or rather one person, this random guy walks in, and he's the evil twin's butler. Now, I find this really strange in itself, or maybe he's a personal assistant, but I think he's actually the butler. But anyway, and he's like, hello, and he starts calling Alec Guinness by the name of the evil twin. So Alec Guinness is like, hang on a second, I'm not the evil guy. I'm Alec Guinness. I'm this person, and you have mistaken me for this person who looks exactly like me. And so the butler's like, well, you've gone mad and you are hallucinating. There is no such other person. You just dreamt it all up. So Alec Guinness is outraged. He's like, no, I'm not imagining it. I'm not mad. Anyway, he somehow ends up going to the house of the evil twin and being referred to in the name of the evil twin. He is resuming the life of the evil twin. He starts living in his house. He starts wearing his clothes. He has this wife and this child that are of the evil twin. And so for some strange reason, Alec Guinness is like, well, okay, this is my life then. Now that doesn't make any sense, because if your identity has been stolen and you are like told that you're somebody else who looks like you would say, hang on, this is not me. I mean, you would keep protesting it. Why would you just want to assume the life of this random guy? Okay, he does have a massive house. So he starts being a nicer version of this evil guy who's actually, not that great morally. He starts to be like a morally good version of this guy, and he starts fixing all his problems. At this point, I was just like, hang on a second. Like, this is so unrealistic. Even if you're teleported into a life where you are suddenly rich and you suddenly lead this glamorous life, you would still want your own identity. Like, I just don't believe this makes any sense. And the ending of this film is so stupid that I actually went, what? And turns out, spoiler alert, Alec Guinness wasn't going mad. He does have an evil twin, and this guy does have this house, and it isn't just something he's dreamt up in his brain. Which in a way is good, because it meant that I didn't watch the film for nothing, but the ending is actually so stupid that I did watch it for nothing. That is my basic review of this film, The Scapegoat. If I were you, I would escape this film and not watch it. I mean, it's so funny because somebody in the comments actually wrote that the movie flopped and bombed and it lost loads of money. And when I read that, I should have thought I shouldn't watch this film because it lost loads of money, but the guy in the comments was like, actually it was worth seeing, and it's so much better, and I can't believe it flopped. And I would have to say, I can believe it. That is something I do believe. So yeah, possibly one to watch if you're a fan of Alec Guinness, but I can say that's probably the only reason. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a bit of a long ramble and absolute, rushed video as always, but next week I will be more on the ball, as I say. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care, guys.